Imagine this. Two friends graduate from college on the same day. Both are intelligent. Both get jobs paying around $60,000 a year. Both dream of becoming financially free. Fast forward. 20 years later, the first person owns multiple investments, has money working for him while he sleeps, travels when he wants, never worries about paying bills. The second person still wakes up every morning worrying about money, still lives paycheck to paycheck, still wonders why life feels like a never-ending race. Now here's the shocking part. Neither one won the lottery. Neither inherited millions. Neither started a billion-dollar company. So, what created such a massive difference? Was it luck, hard work, education, or something much deeper? Because the answer might completely change the way you think about money forever. And here's something even more surprising. Most people spend their entire lives chasing money, without ever learning the rules of the game. Imagine trying to win a football match without knowing where the goalposts are. That's exactly how millions of people live every single day. They're working harder than ever, but somehow, they never seem to get ahead. Why? Because they're playing by rules that were never designed to make them wealthy. Today's video is different. I'm going to show you the invisible financial habits, the psychological mistakes, and the hidden decisions that separate people who build wealth from those who spend their entire lives chasing it. And trust me, the final lesson in this video is something almost nobody talks about, yet it quietly determines whether you'll be wealthy or financially stressed for the rest of your life. So stay with me until the very end, because one idea, just one, could completely change your financial future. Introduction. Welcome back to Wealth Theory. I'm Addy. If you're someone who wants to understand money instead of constantly worrying about it, you're in exactly the right place. On this channel, we explore investing, business, personal finance, and the psychology of wealth. Not get-rich-quick schemes, not fake success. Just practical ideas that can genuinely improve your financial future. If that sounds valuable, make sure you subscribe. Because every week we break down complex financial ideas into simple lessons anyone can understand. Now, let's begin with the biggest financial lie almost everyone believes. Chapter 1. The biggest lie about money from the day we're children. Most of us hear the exact same advice. Study hard, get good grades, find a secure job, work hard for 40 years, retire. And hopefully, everything will work out. It sounds logical, and for decades, that advice worked reasonably well. But today's world is different. The cost of living keeps rising. Homes are becoming more expensive. Education costs continue to increase. Healthcare costs more than ever, yet many salaries have barely kept up, which raises an uncomfortable question. What if working harder isn't the real answer anymore? Think about it. Millions of people work incredibly hard. Construction workers, teachers, nurses, delivery drivers, factory workers. Yet many of them still struggle financially. Clearly, hard work matters, but hard work alone doesn't automatically create wealth. So what does? That's exactly what we're about to discover. Because the next lesson explains why two people earning the exact same salary can end up living completely different financial lives. The income trap. Imagine waking up tomorrow, and your boss tells you, "Congratulations, you're getting a $15,000 raise." Most people would celebrate, and they should, but here's something interesting. Research has shown that many people who receive a raise don't stay happier for very long. Why? Because as income increases, lifestyle often increases with it. A bigger apartment, a newer car, more expensive vacations, a nicer phone, more subscriptions, better restaurants. Without realizing it, every extra dollar gets assigned a new expense. This is called lifestyle inflation. And it's one of the biggest reasons people earning $50,000 and people earning $150,000 can both feel broke. Because wealth isn't determined by what you earn, it's determined by what you keep. Think about this. If someone earns $300,000 a year, but spends $295,000, they're building almost no wealth. Now imagine someone earning $80,000, but saving and investing $20,000 every year. Who do you think is creating a stronger financial future? Income creates opportunity. Habits create wealth. That's a difference many people never understand. The invisible prison. Have you ever noticed something strange? The more money people make, the more they often believe they need. At first they think, if I could just make $50,000, then it's, if I could make $100,000, then $200,000, then $500,000. The finish line keeps moving. Psychologists call this the hedonic treadmill. You quickly adapt to a better lifestyle. What once felt like luxury soon becomes normal. Then you want something bigger, newer, more expensive. It's like drinking salt water. The more you consume, the thirstier you become. That's why chasing income without controlling spending feels like running on a treadmill. You're exhausted, but you're not moving forward. Chapter 3, the difference between rich and wealthy. Most people use these words as if they mean the same thing. They don't. You can be rich without being wealthy. Someone earning $1 million a year can still be drowning in debt. Someone earning far less can quietly build millions over time. Being rich often means having a high income. Being wealthy means owning assets that continue producing income. Even when you're not working, that's a huge difference. Imagine two neighbors. The first drives a luxury sports car, wears designer clothes, lives in a huge house. Everyone assumes he's wealthy. The second neighbor drives a 10-year-old car, lives below his means, invests every month, owns dividend-paying stocks, owns rental properties, never shows off. 10 years later, the second neighbor quietly becomes a millionaire, while the first is still making payments. Real wealth is often invisible. It's hidden inside investment accounts, businesses, real estate, and ownership, not expensive purchases. That's why financially successful people ask a different question. Instead of asking, "What can I buy?" they ask, "What can I own that will pay me for years?" That single question has created more millionaires than almost any financial strategy. Curiosity loop, but here's where things become even more surprising. Even people who understand all of this still make one mistake that quietly destroys their future. It's a mistake almost everyone makes, without even noticing, and once you see it, you'll never think about money the same way again. Because the next chapter isn't about earning money. It's about how your brain tricks you into spending it. Chapter 4, your brain was never designed to make you rich. Let me ask you something. If I gave you two choices, would you rather have $100 today or $151 a month from now? Most people choose the $100, not because it's smarter, but because their brain loves immediate rewards. This is one of the biggest reasons people struggle financially. Your brain evolved thousands of years ago. Back then, there were no stock markets, no retirement accounts, no index funds, no investment apps. Life was about survival. If food was available, you ate it. If you found shelter, you took it, because tomorrow wasn't guaranteed. That ancient survival system still exists inside your brain today. Except now, instead of chasing food, it's chasing online shopping, fast food, luxury brands, the newest iPhone, weekend sales, and one-click purchases. Your brain keeps saying, "Buy it now," while your future keeps whispering, "Invest it instead." The problem is, the louder voice usually wins. The marshmallow experiment in the 1970s, researchers conducted one of the most famous psychology experiments ever. Young children were placed in a room with a marshmallow. They were given a choice. Eat one marshmallow now, or wait a little longer, and receive two. Some children couldn't wait, others did. Years later, researchers discovered something fascinating. The children who learned to delay gratification often performed better in school, built stronger careers, and managed life challenges more successfully. The lesson wasn't really about marshmallows. It was about learning to choose a bigger reward later instead of a smaller reward today. Money works exactly the same way. Every time you invest instead of spending, you're choosing two marshmallows. Every unnecessary purchase is choosing one. Chapter 5, the $5 coffee that could cost you thousands now. Before anyone gets upset, this isn't really about coffee, it's about habits. Imagine buying a $5 coffee every workday, 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year. That's about $1,300 a year. Now imagine investing that same amount every year for 30 years, instead of spending it, thanks to compound growth. That money could potentially grow into tens of thousands of dollars over time, depending on investment returns. Suddenly, that coffee doesn't cost $5 anymore, it costs your future. Now, does this mean you should never enjoy coffee? Of course not. Money isn't meant to make life miserable. The lesson is this: spend intentionally, not emotionally. Buy things that genuinely improve your life, not things you purchase simply because you're bored, stressed, or trying to impress someone else, because every dollar has a choice. It can disappear forever, or it can become an employee, working for you year after year. A story you'll never forget. Imagine two friends. Every Friday, one spends $100 eating out, shopping, and buying things he barely remembers a month later. The other enjoys life too, but invests that same $100 every week. Neither notices much difference after 1 month, or even 1 year. But after 20 years, the gap becomes enormous. One owns memories that have already faded. The other owns investments that continue growing every single day. Small decisions, repeated hundreds of times, eventually become life-changing results. That's how wealth is really built, not in one giant moment, but in thousands of ordinary choices. Curiosity loop, but here's something even stranger. Even people who save money often lose the game. Why? Because they're following financial advice that sounds safe, but quietly makes them poorer every year. And that's exactly what we'll uncover next. The next chapter may completely change the way you think about saving money. Chapter 6. The biggest mistake savers make. Imagine you've spent 10 years saving money. You skip expensive vacations. You avoid unnecessary shopping. You rarely eat at expensive restaurants. Finally, you have $50,000 sitting safely in your bank account. You feel proud, and honestly, you should. Saving money is an important habit, but here's the question almost nobody asks. Is your money actually growing, or is it slowly losing value? Most people think that if the number in their bank account never goes down, they're getting richer. Unfortunately, that's not always true, because while your money is sitting still, the world around it keeps changing. Every year, groceries become more expensive, rent goes up, healthcare costs increase, insurance gets more expensive, almost everything costs more over time. This invisible force is called inflation. And inflation doesn't announce itself, it quietly reduces what your money can buy. Imagine this, 10 years ago. $100 filled an entire grocery cart. Today, that same $100 often buys much less. Your money didn't disappear, its purchasing power did. That's why simply saving money without a long-term plan for growth can quietly make you poorer. Money should have a job. Think of your money like a team of employees. Imagine owning a company with 100 workers. Would you pay all 100 employees and then tell them to sit in a room doing absolutely nothing? Of course not. Every employee should be creating value. The wealthy think about money the same way. Every dollar should have a purpose. Some dollars protect you. That's your emergency fund. Some dollars grow through investments. Some dollars create new businesses. Some dollars buy assets that generate future income. Money sitting idle is like hiring workers who never show up. The goal isn't just to earn money. The goal is to put money to work, because eventually you want your investments working harder than you do. Chapter 7, The Rich Buy Time, Not Just Things. Here's a question. If someone gave you 1 extra hour every single day, what could you accomplish? Learn a new skill, start a business, exercise, spend time with your family. Now think about this. The wealthy often use money to buy time, not just luxury. Time. They automate repetitive tasks. They hire help when it creates more opportunity. They build businesses that continue earning money, even when they're asleep, because they understand something powerful. Money can be earned again, time cannot. Many people spend money to look successful. The wealthy often spend money to become more productive. There's a huge difference. One purchase creates a temporary feeling. The other creates long-term opportunity. A simple story. Imagine 2 business owners. The first insists on doing everything alone. Accounting, marketing, emails, customer support, social media, shipping. He works 16 hours every day. He's exhausted. The second owner learns to delegate. She automates repetitive work, focuses only on the highest value tasks. After 5 years, who do you think has the larger business? Success isn't always about working harder. Sometimes it's about making smarter decisions with your time. Curiosity loop, but here's where things become really interesting. Even if you understand investing, even if you avoid inflation, and even if you learn how to buy back your time, there's still one invisible habit that quietly keeps millions of people financially stuck. It's not about money, it's not about investing. It's happening inside your own mind. Chapter 8, The difference isn't money, it's thinking. Imagine two people receive exactly the same opportunity, the same business idea, the same amount of money, the same amount of time. One person says, "What if this fails?" The other asks, "What can I learn if this fails?" One sees risk, the other sees opportunity. This is one of the biggest differences between people who build wealth and those who never do. Your financial future isn't shaped only by your bank account. It's shaped by the questions you ask yourself every day. Successful people don't know all the answers. They simply ask better questions instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" They ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Instead of saying, "I can't afford it," they ask, "How can I afford it?" Those two questions may sound similar, but they create completely different futures, because one closes your mind, the other forces your brain to search for solutions. Your habits are writing your future. Most people believe success comes from one big decision. The truth is, your life is usually built by hundreds of tiny decisions. Imagine two people. One reads just 10 pages of a finance book every day. The other spends those same 20 minutes scrolling through social media. One day, there's almost no difference. 1 week, still almost none. 1 month, not much changes, but after 10 years, one person has read over 30 books, learned new skills, made better financial decisions. The other has consumed thousands of hours of content, most of which they can't even remember. This is called the compound effect. Small habits, repeated consistently, create extraordinary results. That's exactly how wealth is built, not overnight, but one decision at a time. Chapter 9, The Millionaire Next Door. When people imagine millionaires, they often picture luxury yachts, private jets, designer watches, huge mansions, but reality is often very different. Many millionaires look completely ordinary. They shop carefully. They avoid unnecessary debt. They drive reliable cars. They invest consistently. If you walked past them in a grocery store, you might never realize they were wealthy. Why? Because wealthy people often value freedom more than appearance. They don't need strangers to think they're rich. They'd rather actually be rich. There's a huge difference. Many people buy expensive things to look successful. Successful people often delay those purchases until they no longer matter, because real wealth isn't about looking rich. It's about having choices, the choice to retire early, the choice to spend more time with family, the choice to travel, the choice to say no to a job you hate. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it does buy options, and options create freedom. A question that could change your life tonight. Before you go to bed, ask yourself one question. If I continue making the exact same financial decisions for the next 10 years, where will I end up? Don't answer emotionally, answer honestly, because your future isn't created by luck. It's created by repetition. The habits you repeat today become the life you live tomorrow. Curiosity loop. We've talked about income, spending, investing, inflation, habits, and mindset. But there's still one final lesson, the lesson that quietly connects everything you've learned today. It's simple, yet it has the power to completely change your financial future. And once you hear it, you'll understand why some people build wealth, no matter how much they earn. And once you recognize it, you'll understand why some people build wealth almost effortlessly, while others stay trapped in the same financial cycle for decades. Chapter 10. The one rule that changes everything. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a forest. Two paths are in front of you. The first path looks easy, smooth, comfortable, familiar. The second path looks difficult, uncertain. It requires patience, discipline, and faith. Almost everyone chooses the first path, because humans naturally avoid discomfort. But here's the strange part. The easy path often becomes the hardest life, while the difficult path eventually becomes the easiest life. That's exactly how money works. Buying something today is easy. Saving is harder. Investing is harder. Learning new financial skills is harder. Building a business is harder. But years later, those difficult choices become freedom, while easy choices become stress. Every financial decision is really a trade. You're never choosing between spending and saving. You're choosing between today's comfort and tomorrow's freedom. The invisible price tag. Everything you buy has two prices. The first price is the amount printed on the tag. The second price is the opportunity you gave up. Imagine buying a brand new luxury watch for $5,000. The price tag says $5,000, But what if that same money had been invested for 20 years? Suddenly, that watch didn't just cost $5,000. It may have cost tens of thousands of dollars in future growth, depending on how the investment performed. This is called opportunity cost. The wealthy think about opportunity cost before almost every major purchase. Most people never think about it at all. They only ask, "Can I afford this?" The wealthy ask. "What am I giving up if I buy this?" That single question has quietly created countless millionaires. The snowball effect. Have you ever pushed a tiny snowball down a snowy hill? At first, nothing impressive happens. It's small, slow, almost boring, but as it keeps rolling, it grows faster. Larger, heavier, eventually, it becomes impossible to stop. Wealth works exactly the same way. Your first $1,000 feels difficult. The second 1,000 comes a little easier. Then your investments begin earning money. That money earns more money, and eventually, your wealth begins growing faster than your effort. Most people quit before they reach that point. Not because it doesn't work, but because they expected fast results. The wealthy understand something different. They trust the process, even when progress feels invisible. The future version of you. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself 10 years from now. Where are you living? How do you spend your mornings? Do you wake up excited or worried? Are you choosing how to spend your day, or are bills choosing for you? Now ask yourself one honest question. Will the financial decisions I'm making today create that future, or destroy it? Your future self is watching every decision you make today, every unnecessary purchase, every investment, every book you read, every skill you learn, every excuse you make, little by little. You're building the life you'll eventually live. One small decision. People often believe success comes from one huge breakthrough, a lucky investment, a perfect business, a winning lottery ticket. But real wealth almost never works that way. It's built through ordinary decisions, choosing to save instead of spend, learning instead of scrolling, investing instead of waiting, improving instead of complaining. Those decisions don't look exciting, but over 10, 20, or 30 years, they create extraordinary lives. Final story. Imagine two people standing in the same place today. Both have dreams. Both want financial freedom. Both believe they'll start one day. One decides to wait. "I'll invest when I earn more. I'll start my business next year. I'll learn about money later." The other starts today with $50, one book, one investment, one new habit. 10 years later, their lives no longer look the same, not because one got lucky, because one decided to begin. Success doesn't belong to the smartest people. It usually belongs to those who stay consistent long after everyone else has quit. Final message. If you forget everything else from today's video, remember this one sentence. Your income may pay for your lifestyle, but your habits determine your future. The rich aren't financially free because they discovered a secret. They're financially free because they repeatedly made decisions that most people delayed. And here's the good news. Those same decisions are available to you, starting today. Starting with whatever you have, because the best investment you'll ever make isn't a stock, isn't real estate, isn't even a business. It's becoming the kind of person who consistently makes better financial decisions. Once you become that person, wealth becomes a result, not a goal. Professional CTA. If this video changed the way you think about money, take just 5 seconds and hit the like button. It helps this video reach more people who need it. If you're new here, subscribe to Wealth Theory, because every week we break down the psychology of wealth, investing, business, and personal finance into practical lessons you can actually use. Now I have one question for you. What's the biggest financial lesson you've ever learned the hard way? Share your answer in the comments below. You never know. Your experience might help someone else avoid the same mistake. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I'm Addy. This is Wealth Theory. Keep learning, keep investing. Keep building your future. And remember, the life you dream about isn't built in one day. It's built by the decisions you make every single day. I'll see you in the next video.